Okay, so just making a few comments about the main topic here, which is the living with joy and dying in peace. Um, so if you think about joy, living with joy, it really made me see very clearly that you cannot really have a true sense of joy of living unless you truly understand the meaning of the death, the the knowledge of impermanence. So if you there is no true understanding of impermanence, no true understanding of the death, no true understanding of the changes which is occurring every single moment, I think it's very hard to feel a true joy. You can always feel a joy which is very much causal joy, which is very much relative joy, which is very much conditional joy, a joy of having a new car, a joy of getting into a new relationship, and those kind of joy. But a true joy, the joy which can continuously that you experience with even old car, joy that you can continuously feel deep in long relationship or years of relationship, and those joy do come from more a joy that when you feel deeper connection to yourself, when you feel there is some sense of impermanence, some sense of change, and you have transcended yourself from those impermanent and transcendent yourself from those changes, then there is, I think, true sense of joy can take place. So the same way, as far as the peace is concerned, um, unless one truly understands the meaning of the death, unless one understands a true sense of what impermanence and death means, I don't think it's possible to have a peace the moment when you're dying. So these two are connected, um, so that I think it's important to understand how they are connected and how that connection can be realized, be aware, and how that connection can actually help us to really truly feel more moment joy in moment to moment in our life, and whenever that change, death happens in our life, just feeling there is a deep sense of peace. And recently, I was wonderful for me to opportunity to visit to a student of mine who passed away, and in some sense, I was kind of expecting that maybe it's a little bit kind of sad and lost or some kind of experiences like that. But when I was there near the corpse and near the person who had just passed away a couple of hours ago, and but to see such a peaceful energy and such a peaceful feeling that I experienced there that very moment, I think it's something reason why I thought that maybe I might feel a little bit disturbed or something like that. Then I realized that's something the way I was seeing what the meaning of the death is. But when I actually encounter in presence the situation, being with that, and I did not feel any kind of disturbances. It was like such a deep sense of peace in that moment, in that event. There's nothing wrong. And so it's very important for all of us to realize that and not project a sense of negativity on that event, on that situation, whenever that is happening. So the sense of connection with the living with joy, dying in peace, I think it's very important to recognize that. Just briefly, those who are listening first time here, this is, as I mentioned before, it's a continue ongoing free monthly live webcast. There is a discussion forum and a recorded webcast, everything that you have missed in the past. There's a slide there, I think probably you're able to see it. Recorded webcast there. There is also downloadable MP3 audio recordings and some downloadable print materials. And all of these you can get through the www.ligminchalearning.com, as you can see there. So maybe somebody's also kind of typing in the chat screen. And so that is it's part of that. I just wanted to let everybody know, those who are first time listening to this, so you can have opportunity to listen the previous ones. Now, finding peace with death. So this is the topic for the day, and just few words about that. Is that once again, this idea of death, and there is so much a negative sense of death. There's so much idea of negative to the death. And I remember very clearly one time at Rice University when talking about the Pardo, I was standing up and I wrote a word death on the blackboard there, and a woman sitting there in front row, and she was just no, like a very strong kind of reaction. I was just for a moment I was wondering, what did I do anything wrong? What did I do? And then I realized it's nothing particular I did wrong, but just the word death seeing was too much. So I think this sense of that too much negative energy imputed on top of this word, and I think it's very important each one of us to recognize that. So death is nothing wrong. Death is not a loss. Death is not an ending, and death is not a failure. Death is a natural part of a birth. Death is natural part of life. Death is natural part of continuation of life and continuation of mind stream, continuation of existence. So it's not something to see something terribly wrong with it. I think if you do see that, if you do feel that, and this is a very, very important moment to recognize that you do, and realize that you do need to overcome that idea and feeling, and whatever you need to do it, and to overcome that. So this is first part, not very important to recognize nothing wrong with that. And the second part is to have a peace with the death. I think two very important things to understand in terms of the Dharma teaching in the Buddhism and the teaching is that the understanding of impermanence, I think, is very important, and understanding of interdependence is very important, because impermanence and interdependent, I think the knowledge and the realization of impermanence and interdependence, I think, will help to feel more space, feel more a sense of awareness, expansion of awareness, and able to overcome the fear and the pain and and challenges of these thoughts and the death. So I think it's very important. So first, like I think in some sense the same way I said earlier, that a true understanding of mortality will probably, you will transcend the fear of mortality and realize the immortality in a sense of immortal, a sense of nature of mind. We say the nature of mind, the essence of mind. We say in the Dzogchen tradition, Kunji. We say also Ngowo. We also, you can say the pervasive Rikpa, Chabrik, the pervasive innate awareness. These are like immortal. And in a sutra, the lack of inherent existence, the shunyata, is immortal. So awareness of immortality, it's very important to have in order to have a peace of the death, to peace the idea of the death or the process of the death. So it's very important to understand a true sense of, more you understand the impermanence, more you feel free from impermanence, more you feel more you feel a sense of hope and confidence and strength from the fear of changes, because change is what, if you look any situation, any time we get very shaken and very vulnerable and fearful, whenever we lose our comfort zone, our familiar situation, and whenever we enter into changes, unexpected changes, unwanted changes, we freak out. And we freak out because why we freak out is because we feel that not supposed to happen. Why we feel that's not supposed to happen? Well, that's wrong to have the idea to begin with. You're supposed to think, oh, it's supposed to happen. It will happen. Nothing surprising in it. I always tell sometimes a little bit like joking when I said, whenever you say like a mantra, like oh, it's impossible what happened to me. It's impossible my friend did that. It makes me upset. It's impossible what my friend said to something to me. How dare is possible somebody can say something that to me or do something that to me? Well, you got it wrong. It's possible. Just be free from idea of impossible. It is possible. That's why it happened, and it's happening. That's why it's possible. So forget about thinking about impossible. Say it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Of course it's possible. That's why it happened. Of course it's possible. That's what they did. Of course it's possible. That's why they said this horrible thing to me. Of course it's possible. That's why this situation happened. Of course it's possible. Everything is possible. So idea of being very open to the possibility and not feeling surprise and pain when something happened, because you have that awareness of a sacred space in which you have idea of possibility, in which it's possible, which that nothing wrong about it, because you have the awareness of the sacred space. So what I'm saying here basically is that a true understanding of impermanence and true understanding of interdependency, I think, will help to overcome and transcend this fear of changes and death. And now, for example, I always thought about it, and that I thought about what will be the good meditation to overcome the fear of death. A good meditation. What would be? And of course, I could think many things. Maybe I'll list few of the names, and I will just narrow down into one. I could say, well, I feel support from my family, support from my friends, to have enlightened beings support me, angels support me, Buddha support me, Bodhisattvas support me, Christ support me, all the wisdom beings support you. You can think all of that. That's absolutely possible that you will feel more supported by that. People do. Or you can say maybe a true sense of supporting a fear of death and the experience of death is feel supported by, how you say, able to transcend the fear of change, able to process the fear of change, able to be free from the fear of changes, liberate the fear of changes, and experience how you're going to happen that, how it's going to happen that when I have some deep connection to changelessness, some sense of deep connection to immortality, of eternal being, eternal kaya, eternal dharmakaya, eternal truth, eternal sense of being. And when I have a glimpse of experience of that, then I will actually feel confidence from that, feel power from that, feel some sense of realization from it. And through that power, through that confidence, through that realization, I will not feel threatened by that change. I will not feel threatened by any change. I will not feel threatened by the experience of death. I will be completely merged and resting in that changeless, true, sacred space where there is completely a restfulness, peacefulness, peace from, or liberation from those changes, peace from those fears, rest from those agitation, anxieties of the change and death. And that's the only way, I think, truly, that's the only way one will experience the peace, peace from the death. So the true sense of peace from the death is only going to come from self-realization, a realization of the nature of mind, realization of the Dharmakaya. And I'm saying particular, not only just the nature of mind, but particular quality of the nature of mind, like a Dharmakaya, a particular inner refuge, like unbounded space, particular awareness, the awareness of unbounded sacred space. And these are the wisdom, these are knowledge, these experiences will help you to gain, achieve, realize, and maintain a peace, peace with the idea of change, death, and a moment of the death. So this is for sure. No, with no doubt, I can say that, and no doubt, I wanted to tell you all of you that, and that is not waste time if you're truly, genuinely interested to overcome the fear of death and have more peace of the death. And in some sense, I know, like some of my students, they are joyfully saying that I wanted to prepare. I really wanted to. One of the main things I want to do now is prepare my death. I wanted really to do. I wanted to have a good death. I wanted to have a fantastic death, a joyful death, a peaceful death, and I wanted to prepare for that. And that's very important. Also, I always tell something about when it comes to the meaning of death. I one of my last visits to my teacher, Yongzi Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche, who is living in Nepal, and who is also every summer who comes to France, and Shentin Tarjeling is the retreat center in France. And once a year, I have this great opportunity, or actually last year, I have a wonderful, great opportunity to visit quite a few, 3-4, I think it was 3 times I visited. So anyway, one of my visits to him, he told me that, he said, I am packed. I am ready to leave any time whenever that happens. So I'm packed. So that was a kind of a very eye-opening, great teaching for me. And immediately I asked myself, are you ready? Are you packed? And I realize I'm not completely packed. And since then, I am beginning to pack myself too. And of course, I have. I wish I pack, be more efficient in my packing and learning to be a little bit more, how you say, simpler, easier, than taking to delaying packing. So I've been a little bit to delay packing. So I think I realized that I need to speed up with the packing. It's like a traveling. I've been traveling for last over 20 years traveling, and it took long time to learn to travel light. And I'm trying to learn to travel light. I'm trying to learn to have uh, live more simpler life, have less stuffs around. So I think that sense of making life more simpler, getting ready, I think it's very, very important. And then enjoying every moment that you have in your life, uh, to trying to enjoy, not to get late, to trying to go crazy the last moment of the life, but enjoy and be happy, give, share, and not waste one single moment in unnecessary conflict, unnecessary pain, unnecessary conversations, unnecessary thoughts. And whenever those unnecessary situations and emotion thoughts are coming, realize that just cut it through right away, and just find that sacred space and sacred silence and enjoy life. So that is my recommendation.